We spend so much time focusing on our health, right? We're tracking calories, we're hitting the gym, we're reading every single label. But what if the most critical part of our nutrition is something we literally can't even see? Well, that's the invisible crisis we're going to dive into today. So let's just ask it straight up. What if the biggest problem in our diet is completely invisible? We're going to explore that gap between what we think is healthy and what our bodies are truly starving for. And that gap, well, it might just be at the very heart of our biggest health challenges. Okay, so to really get a handle on this problem, we've got to look at the cold, hard facts. And honestly, the stats on our health today, they're pretty staggering. Let's start with heart disease. It's the #1 killer of both men and women. The data shows that 1 in every 4 deaths is due to heart disease. Just let that sink in for a second, 1 in 4. And it's not just heart disease. Take a look at cancer rates. Back in the 1940s, the rate was something like 1 in 16. Fast forward to today, for men, it is now 1 in 2. That's a massive jump. And for women, the cancer rate is 1 in 3. We're also looking at projections that by 2050, 1 out of every 3 people will have diabetes. I mean, these numbers are painting a really clear and frankly pretty concerning picture. And if you're not convinced yet, listen to this quote from Dr. David Katz at Yale. Our children are more harmed by poor diet than by drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. Wow, that just hits you, right? We pour all these resources into fighting other things, but what's on our kids' plates could be doing the most damage. So what is going on here? So what gives? Why are we seeing these trends? Well, the source material for this explainer has a really interesting take. It suggests the problem is how we see nutrition, or maybe what we don't see. And they use this great analogy to explain it, the nutrition iceberg. This slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? We are obsessed with what's above the water, the tip of the iceberg. That's our macronutrients, proteins, fats, carbs. It's the fuel we count and track. But here's the thing. The huge, massive part of the iceberg hidden underneath, that's our micronutrition. And that's not the fuel. Think of it as the engine oil, the coolant, the stuff that conditions the whole system to run smoothly for the long haul. It's what we're almost completely missing. So what are we talking about here? Well, a huge part of it is something called phytonutrients. Now, phyto is just a fancy word for plant. So we're talking about all those thousands of tiny little vitamins, minerals, and enzymes that all work together like a team to keep our body systems, everything from our immune system to our heart, in top shape. And just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, get this. Scientists have found over 25,000 unique phytonutrients in one single blueberry. 25,000. That is this incredible invisible universe of nutrition that you will never, ever see on a food label. Okay, so if we're all missing out on this vital stuff, how do we fix it? Well, the source material we're looking at today focuses on one particular approach, a product called Juice Plus. And its origin story is actually pretty fascinating. It all started back in the 90s. There was a doctor whose father was diagnosed with lymphoma. So the doctor got to work and developed these concentrated plant powders to try and help him. And the story goes that his father lived for 6 more years and with a good quality of life. That whole experience is what led to the launch of Juice Plus back in 1993. So how do they do it? Well, the process is actually pretty key. They start with fruits and veggies that are vine ripened, so they're at their absolute peak of nutrition. And then, and I think this is cool, they use the whole plant, the pits, the peels, the seeds, all the stuff we usually throw away. They gently dehydrate everything at low temperatures to keep all those delicate phytonutrients intact, and then the powders go into capsules to stop them from oxidizing. Okay, a great story is one thing, but you gotta have the proof to back it up, right? So the source material points to 3 main ways it validates the product: how it's classified, how it's certified, and the clinical research behind it. First up, it actually has a food label, not a supplement label, which is a big distinction. Second, it's NSF certified. That means an independent third party has tested it and confirmed it's free of contaminants. And third, and this is a big one, it's backed by a ton of clinical research. We're talking over 45 published studies, making it one of the most researched nutritional products out there. Let's actually dive into one of those studies because this one is really fascinating. It was done at the University of Maryland and published in a major cardiology journal. They called it the High-Fat Meal Challenge. So here's what they did. They gave people a pretty standard fast food breakfast, you know the kind. Then they measured how much their arteries constricted, which is a big red flag for cardiovascular stress. Now look at that bar on the left. That's the group on a placebo. You can see their arteries really clamped down. But check this out. After just 28 days, look at the huge drop for the groups taking Juice Plus. And that trio blend on the far right, it's practically flat. And here's the headline number from that study. The group that was taking the full trio blend, that's the fruit, veggie, and berry capsules, they saw their artery constriction basically disappear, a 98% drop. According to the source, this is a perfect example of just how fast our bodies can bounce back when we give them the right tools, those micronutrients. So we've seen the problem, this whole idea of micronutrition, and we've looked at one product designed to tackle it. So let's kind of zoom back out and talk about what this all means for us, bridging that gap in our own diets. Really, the source presents this product as a simple way to build a bridge over that gap between the diet we know we should be eating and, what we actually eat day to day. It's why the company calls itself the Proactive Wellness Company. It's all about filling in those nutritional blanks before they become a problem. Now, if you want to learn more from the source material we looked at for this explainer, the contact they provided is Helene Matthews. That's Helene, pronounced Helene. Her website is helene7.juiceplus.com, and the phone number is 858-208-5109. The source also mentioned another great resource for just general info on health, wellness, fitness, and all that good stuff. You can check that out at naturesmart.us. So we'll leave you with this to think about. Knowing now that your body's strength and resilience really depends on these thousands of invisible nutrients. What's one simple change you can make starting today to better fuel your own health?